you want to be in the heart of everything with easy access to the outdoors and all amenities, this might be the place that you're going to want to call home. In this video, I'm going to tour you around downtown Vancouver. I'm going to show you some of my favorite spots. We are going to look at real estate, everything between $700,000 all the way up to $2.2 million. And make sure to stick around to the very end because I'm going to break down a condo that I sold to an investor client. I'm going to walk you through the deal pro forma that I do for all my investor clients. Join me on probably the coldest day in Vancouver while I take you on a tour and show you my favorite spots here in downtown. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is about real estate in Vancouver, subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications to be the first to learn what's going on in the current market here in Vancouver. My name is Megan Becker, local realtor. Myself and my team get calls every day from people looking to make this incredible but cold right now city their home. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, text, or email, and I'm excited to help you make a smooth move to the best city in Canada. So what is it about downtown specifically that made me excited to call this community home? Well, when I first moved to Vancouver, I lived in Yaletown and love Yaletown. One of the biggest things I liked about that area is the proximity to the seawall. I was a block away from the seawall. It made running so enjoyable. But the reason why I chose downtown to settle in is that I just have closer access to everything. I'm anywhere between a 10 and 30-minute walk to anywhere in the downtown vicinity. And getting in and out of downtown where I am is just super easy. You've got the Georgia Viaduct to exit downtown and then Canby Bridge to enter in downtown. Those are the two easy ways, and I can be there within a couple blocks. And if you don't know traffic in downtown Vancouver, that is definitely something to really consider. Especially, I know people love the West End, which is further west of downtown, but that's a big deterrent factor for people is the commuting time to actually get in and out, depending on what times that you are commuting. The other thing I love about downtown is it really is the center of everything. I love that I can walk the majority of places to meet friends. I can walk to the gym. I can walk anywhere that I really want to go. And I'm a little bit further from the seawall. I'm 3 blocks away now, which is still a pretty fantastic feature here. Let's talk real estate in downtown Vancouver. So the majority of what you're going to see is high-rise condos and townhomes. There's not going to be any single families down here. And downtown took a bit of a hit over COVID. People were exiting the core, but it's really starting to come back now. But the nice thing is you can still find, so really what you're going to find is you're going to find a few properties under that 400 mark, and that's going to be a mix of your studios, 1 bedrooms. They're all going to be very dated. And then around that 500 to 700 mark, that's when it's going to be a mix of 1 bed studios under 600 square feet. And then around that 700 mark, that's when you're going to start to see 2 bed, 2 bath, and then things just proceed to go up. All right, I am standing in front of 788 Hamilton Street, in front of a 3 bed plus den, 2 bath condo that sold a couple months ago for $1,038,000. So this one was built in 2008 and has all of the amenities that you can think of. 24-hour concierge. There's a sauna, hot tub, fitness center. It's actually 2 towers, so you get the amenities. The 2 towers share that, and the location in this one is prime. You are right on the edge of downtown Yaletown, 2 blocks away from BC Place and Rogers Arena, and super easy access to all of the amenities in Yaletown, everything going on downtown, and easy access in and out of downtown, which I know is a huge thing if you're thinking in terms of commuting and traffic. All right, right behind me on the corner of Richards and Robson is Jinya. It's one of my favorite ramen spots. The reason why I like it is it's kind of hole in the wall ramen spot meets Cactus Club. So you've got the taste of those delicious, hole in the wall places, but you've got the vibes of a Cactus Club, like a trendy restaurant. It's very cool, delicious ramen. When they recommend or when they ask you for spice level, if you like really spicy food, I would ease back a number or two. It is quite overwhelming. I love spice, and advice from a friend when I went there for the first time was to hold back a little bit, and that was a very, very good advice. So unless you're really adventurous, I would give you the same advice as well. One of the things to be aware of walking around here as well is that lots of pedestrians, they just don't care. Lots of cars, they just don't care. So be aware if you are a pedestrian and walking, you know, double check, look both ways like your parents taught you. But a lot of cars, they don't slow down. And then vice versa, if you are driving, watch out for pedestrians, because lots of times, again, they just don't care, and people will just walk out regardless of what the traffic signals are. So just be aware, especially when you're driving around or walking around busy areas. Okay, and right behind me is 1065 Richards. So Richards is really the boundary between downtown and Yaletown. I included this one because I think it gives a really good idea of average townhome price and what you're gonna get, and it's nice. I live on the corner of, or on the edge of downtown and Yaletown, and I really, really like the area. I'm just a little bit further north of here. But a 2-bedroom, 3-bath townhome just sold a couple months ago for $1.29 million. It was 1151 square feet, built in 2009, and it was fully renoed. And for those of you that love the really high ceilings, it had 11-foot ceilings. So what you'll notice here is a lot of these high-rise complexes, they will have townhomes on the bottom there that'll have their own street address. They'll have entry from the street. So it's really nice if you don't want to deal with an elevator, if you like that in and out access. Lots of them actually have little patio areas. So if you have a pet, it is also an attractive feature there. You can just open the door, let your pet do its business, and then not have to get dressed up, check out the elevator and everything like that. The nice thing too is that a block and a half south of here, down Richards, is Emily Barnes, which is a dog park, which is a really cool spot for it because it is right in the middle of, you know, Yaletown, downtown. We're gonna get hit by a car, so we're running. I'm standing in front of 1351 Continental Street. So a unit on the 18th floor here sold a month ago for $699,000. It was a 1-bed plus den. This complex was built in 2013. Every single amenity that you can imagine, 593 square feet. So we are close to Yaletown again. We're on the southwest corner of downtown. And as you can see behind me, there's a lot of construction in here right now. So one of the things to be aware of, especially I always encourage clients when they're scoping out a neighborhood or a building, like look at what's going on around, because there's likely going to be construction for the next handful of years here. So again, just something to be considerate of. It's not a deal breaker for some people, but again, like I said, something to be mindful of. The nice thing here is your super easy access in and out of downtown. Right behind me, you've got Granville Street Bridge, and then easy access right up Granville. We are coming up to Granville. We're just walking down Davie, and this is Fritz Fry House. If you have never tried poutine or are a poutine fan, this is somewhere that you are definitely going to want to check out. Best poutine in Canada. I am walking down Granville Street right now, and Granville Street, one of the iconic streets in downtown Vancouver. It's definitely not what it used to be. As you can see behind me, there are some restaurants, nightclubs, there's some shopping, things like that. There's a lot of rundown, older, empty buildings. It's one of those things that's in the works of getting revitalized, but it's definitely not an area like it used to be. Anyways, there's a lot going on down here. So the nightclub, like most of the popular nightclubs in Vancouver, are going to be down here. Me personally, I'm not a big nightclub person. I like, restaurants, pubs, lounges, like that's my go-to. But for the younger crowd, there's lots of options in Vancouver. I think that's the cool part about being here is there's different things for every type of person. All right, we are walking up Granville Street, coming up to Robson, which is the other iconic downtown street here in Vancouver. And check this out. This is one of my favorite things about downtown, is the little sneak peek of the mountains in between the tall buildings. Okay, because I decided to do this tour on the coldest day, I think, in Vancouver right now, my hands are getting super cold. So we are gonna take a quick little stop into one of my favorite sushi spots. It's called O Sushi on Granville, and they have the best dynamite roll. Okay, quick little stop. We're warming up, some green tea, and my favorite dynamite roll that I found here in Vancouver. All right, we've warmed up and can continue on this tour here. So I'm walking up Granville to a very cool building called the Hudson. And last spring I sold a unit in this building, and I want to tell you a little bit about it because one, really like this building for lots of reasons. It's really well managed strata. It sits right on top of the Granville SkyTrain station. So 610 Granville Street, Hudson, right behind me. And yeah, it sits right on top of Granville SkyTrain station. So the nice thing about this is when it's freezing cold like it is today, you don't even have to go outside. You can get out of your unit, go down the elevator, and you can get straight access through a pedway to the SkyTrain station. So the unit that I sold, sale price was $949,000, and it was a 2-bed, 2-bath, really great layout. They were investor clients and they wanted to purchase this unit for a furnished rental. So make sure you stick around to the very end because I'm going to break down how I found this deal for my clients, and I'm going to run through the pro forma that we use to evaluate, is this going to be a great buy? So sale price $949,000, 2-bed, 2-bath, really great balcony, 850 square feet. There was a solarium as well that you could use as a workspace. Building was built in 2006, and like I said, a very well ran and managed strata. And we were on the 23rd floor and had incredible northeast views. So you got the North Shore Mountains, you've got the sunrise, the daytime sun, as pretty spectacular views. We are venturing into an area called Gastown. This is a very cool spot. As you can see, kind of cobblestone sidewalks and streets. You're gonna find some really funky like antique shops, coffee shops, restaurants, lounges, and speakeasies. There's a ton of stuff to do in Gastown here. Lots of tourist stuff. It's definitely an area, if you have never been to Vancouver, to come check out. And that's the fun part. There's so many parts in Vancouver that are different. They have their own personality, if you want to say it that way. And some of my favorite restaurants are here. I'm going to take you and show you a few of them. The gym that I go to is in Gastown. Best CrossFit gym in Vancouver, in my opinion anyways. And we're actually coming up to the Gastown Steam Clock, which is a very big tourist attraction, as you're going to see by the people that gather around it. So every 15 minutes, this happens. It steams, and people gather around, and they take videos, and they take photos, and it does this every 15 minutes. And so if you're walking by here and you're wondering why there is a large crowd, it's probably because the steam clock is going to go off in the next few minutes. Gastown in front of 141 Water Street. Very cool cobblestone street here in the middle of Gastown. And unit 501 in this complex just sold a couple months ago for $2.2 million. This is a very cool property. This was a 1907. So this building was built in 1907. It's a heritage conversion. So you're gonna see a lot of those in and around Vancouver. The city has done a really fantastic job at preserving the historic charm and the character. So it's a 2-bed, 2-bath loft, just under 1,600 square feet. Another Vancouver favorite is Lee's Donut. They just opened this location here in Gastown. The chain originated in Vancouver, and it's some of the best donuts. There is one in Granville Island, and there are lineups out the door. Coming up to Monarca. This is one of my favorite restaurants so far here. We're in Gastown. This is Mexican, and they have some very funky dishes, really fantastic cocktails. Octopus is one of my favorite dishes done well, and they do a phenomenal octopus dish here. And actually right across the street we've got Local, which is a chain restaurant. They have a really great patio. This whole spot here turns into a patio in the summer, so it's a really great spot to enjoy when it's nice out. And then downstairs is Guilt & Co. And this is a really fun spot, perfect for like a date night, something like that. They've got music, there's live bands, they've got decent cocktails. We were at Monarca last time I was there. Monarca definitely has better cocktails than Guilt & Co. But you're going there for the environment. It's a super fun spot, like I said, a date night or hanging out with friends or birthday celebration or something like that. And yeah, this is Gastown. It's a very cool spot. Lots of people really like to come hang out here, not necessarily on a freezing cold day like today, but in the summertime, especially in the evenings, people are gathered and packed around here. Lots of these restaurants will open up their patios onto the streets, and yeah, it's a really fun spot. And right behind me is Kozak, Ukrainian restaurant, and this is one of my favorite spots. They even have a sign for sourdough. They bake it every single day, fresh. They always have different varieties, really different flavors. They obviously have their standard stuff, but I've got like olives, and they've got olives and sun-dried tomatoes, or there's a walnut garlic one with figs. It's super good as well. Lots of different flavors, and they've got really good baked Ukrainian goods as well. Unit 1909 here just sold 2 months ago for 1.05 million. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,041 square feet, northwest corner unit. So you're gonna have incredible views of the mountains. You're gonna get some of the sun, and you have access to the W Club. So this building was the old Woodward's building. The Woodward's building is a historic building here in downtown Vancouver. The original portion of the building was constructed in 1903 for the Woodward's department store, when that area of Cordova Street was in the heart of Vancouver's retail shopping district. And we're coming up to Prado Cafe on Abbott and Hastings, one of my favorite coffee stops. And because it's cold, we're stopping for coffee. Okay, we got a coffee, and they have these vegan apricot cookies is what they're called, and they had freshly baked ones. So I grabbed a freshly baked cookie and decaf latte, and we're gonna continue on this tour. All right, the tall tower behind me is 688 Abbott, and there's a unit on the 12th floor that just sold for $710,000. So it's a 1-bed plus den, 610 square feet, and this building was built in 2007. The nice thing about this complex actually is they do allow short-term rentals. So you'll still need to comply with all of the City of Vancouver regulations, but it is a building that is short-term rental friendly. So if you travel as a profession and you're going to be gone for an extended period of time, this is a building that might make sense to look in. And our team actually has a current listing on the market right now, and we're actually listed for $699,000. So a little bit under that. Ours is a little bit smaller. We're at 525 square feet, but same layout, 1 bedroom, 1 den, 1 bath. Just a little bit on the smaller side. The nice thing about this area is you are super close, easy access out of downtown on the Georgia Viaduct, which is right behind me, and you are a block away from Rogers Arena, BC Place, and Costco is just behind me as well for all those grocery trips, or if you're craving a cheap, delicious hot dog. Another thing really nice about Vancouver is in the really central areas, you're gonna find these Mobi bikes. And it's a bike share program that you can pay per use, or I have a yearly membership for 120 bucks. You can pick them up anywhere, drop them off anywhere. They're super convenient way to get around, especially because Vancouver is so bike friendly. Right behind me is Jam Cafe on Beatty Street. This is one of my favorite brunch spots, but huge disclaimer, it is very, very busy here. Oftentimes, so I walk by here almost every single day. It's on my way to the gym. And on Saturday mornings, if I go and work out, either the 8 or 9 o'clock class, I'll walk by here and there is a massive lineup outside because it opens at 8, and oftentimes people will, actually quite regularly, people will line up outside. And even during the weekdays, weekends, you're gonna see a lineup. So you gotta be strategic when you wanna go there, or, you know, if it's a nice day, you know, meet up with your friends, catch up while you're waiting in line. But yeah, it definitely is worth the wait if you have time to wait. If you are an investor or you love numbers, this is really going to excite you. So the property on Granville Street, 610 Granville, that I sold last spring, I'm going to walk you through the pro forma that I did for my clients. I do this for all investor clients, and it's something that is, for me anyways, non-negotiable, because an investor is purchasing a property with the intent to either create cash flow, to get some type of a return, to understand the numbers. I've actually even done this for clients that are purchasing a personal property and they're looking at kind of moving up that property ladder. So they want to live in the property for a year or two and then rent it out and then move on to another property. And so I'll jump on Zoom, or we'll sit down and we'll run through this spreadsheet together and actually walk through all the numbers. So I'm going to rip through this really quickly, but it's something that if you're curious about analyzing properties like this, my info's in the description box below. So reach out and I'd love to chat. And if you've never ran through properties like this, it's something I'm more than happy to do with you and share our secret spreadsheet here. It's not secret. It's just heavily formulated, which is not a strength of mine. My strength is being able to negotiate and find really great deals. It's not Excel spreadsheets. So let's get into this fantastic tool here. So this is all the back end of the spreadsheet that I will put in for clients here. So this is where we're gonna put in all of the numbers. So we're gonna put in purchase price, and I asked my clients permission. They're okay sharing all of this information. So our purchase price is $949,000 here. We're gonna input all of our costs to close. So we have legal costs. So this is either your lawyer or your notary. This is we're estimating here $1,500, and that's pretty standard. It might be a little less depending on personal circumstances. And then we have estimated amount for a home inspection. I know this is a little on the higher side. My clients paid $450. Again, with stuff like this, I always like to estimate conservatively. So in the end, if it's less, perfect. Work out a little bit ahead there. And I always recommend to clients to put away a contingency fund. So these guys were okay putting away about $4,500 right off the top here. I always recommend about 1% of the purchase price, and this is for contingencies, when and if things go wrong. I recommend this for personal home, if you're buying a personal home as well, to have that contingency fund for maintenance and repairs, if you're buying a strata, for any type of expenses like that. Here in British Columbia, we have land transfer tax, so this is automatically calculated here. Furnishings or a reno, and I did put yes here. So we estimated, because we needed to paint and then some furnishings, of $22,000 there. So this is your initial investment of $330,000 there. So your initial investment, including the down payment, is $330,000 here. So these clients, what we played around with, they were okay putting a higher down payment, and that's why this strategy worked for them. They were able to purchase at a high purchase price. Interest rates, as you can see down here, were a little bit lower than what they currently are. They're coming. I don't think it's unheard of to potentially see something around this line in the next handful of months here, but who knows? I'm not here to project interest rates. We've calculated out their monthly payment there, and then we have current income. So we have unit A, which is, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit, and you might think $7,000 is a lot of rental income, which, you know, it is or it isn't. But that's where, again, our partnership with this furnished rental company came into play. They are able to get the highest rents because they hand select their clients. They have a specific idea of what they want in a unit, and that's why I hand selected this property. It wasn't just any 2-bed 2-bath suite. There were a lot of criteria that we were looking for that made this an attractive rental unit for this executive furnished rental company here. So we were able to put in $7,000, and I ran all these numbers by our contact with this company here. And then unit B here is actually a parking. So because this is in a very strategic location, because this is in a very advantageous location right in the middle of downtown, we can capitalize on some rental income by renting out the parking stall there. And so we've got our rental income here of $71.50. These current expenses, most of these are calculated from the actual listing sheet. So we've got tax, we inputted from the listing sheet. We've got insurance, utilities, cable, and condo fees from the listing sheet here, and then management. So our executive furnished rental company, she charges a 30% management fee. So some of these numbers you can play around with a little bit. So we're just going to leave them here for right now, and then we're going to go flip over to this spreadsheet. So these numbers are all transposed over here. So we've got that initial investment here. We've got our revenue. We've got all our total expenses, and then we have our profit. This is where we really want to look here. So we as a real estate team, this is the way that we calculate profit. So we have a strict cash flow, and our cash flow is $177 per month here. And then we have a reserve fund contribution. So you'll notice part of our expenses goes to vacancy and repairs here. And we always recommend clients to put about 5% into vacancy, 5% into repairs, and that will build up your contingency fund. These clients, they were okay running a little thin because they were okay having a little bit of cash flow and then just taking kind of feeding that property if and when repairs and maintenance did come up. But we can go back to this data entry page and we can then put in 5% here. We can put in, don't want to break the spreadsheet here. That is a no-no. Okay, we can put in 5% there. So if you are more on the conservative side, we can then do this. So that actually puts us in a negative cash flow. We will essentially feeding the property, but we've got this money, we've got $715. We've got that money set aside for repairs and maintenance. So it's somebody's risk tolerance. That's why my goal is never to say like, this black and white is a good property. It's let's sit down with the client and really figure out the goals. The goal of this client, they had some money, they wanted to put it in Vancouver property, and they wanted to take advantage of the market growth and the appreciation. They weren't super concerned about having cash flow initially. They were okay with either feeding the property or having it be a wash. Where somebody might be their primary goal is to create cash flow. Which, if that's your goal, this would not be a great property for you. So it's really, really playing around with that. And that about wraps up our tour of downtown Vancouver. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I hope you stayed warmer than I did. And I trust you got value from this video. I'm curious, if you're a local that lives here in Vancouver or in downtown Vancouver, what are some things that you love about the area? What are some things for a newcomer to keep in mind? I'd love for you to put it in the comments. And until next time, I am a little cold right now, so I'm gonna go inside, warm myself up, and I have a sauna in my building, and so I think I'm gonna spend a little bit of time in there to warm up.